It is. It's just as compelling in its own way as that ITV drama, which by his own admission did a lot for this campaign. In that drama, Mr Bates was portrayed as stubborn, acerbic and absolutely indefatigable in his campaigning against the Post Office, and that's exactly how he is in real life and has been this morning. If the Post Office was in any doubt that it picked the wrong person to cross and dismiss without explanation over what was only, remember, an £1,100 discrepancy in his account caused by the Horizon software system, well, there can be in no doubt after hearing this morning's evidence. At every stage, Mr Bates was a meticulous record keeper. He kept the receipts, as they say. He, from the very start, pointed out, we heard letters dating back 20 years saying this can only be the cause of the faults in the Horizon system, can be the only explanation. He even apologised for being negative about this system and offered to help the Post Office fix it. Well, he got brushed off then. He then wrote to the chairman. The then chairman of the Post Office pointed out he'd been dismissed, what was being done in the chairman's name. Didn't get a response. He wrote to Ed Davey, then the Post Office minister, just 13 days after he came to power. Pointed out what was happening, was told a meeting wasn't necessary, this was a procedural issue. So at every stage, Alan Bates did what he might have planned to do. Could he have known that 20 years later he would face hours of questioning on his conduct? This is the case, if you like, against the Post Office at the start of this penultimate phase of the inquiry, when those responsible for giving Mr Bates and hundreds of others the brush off, and worse, sending some of them to prison, will face questions about what they did. And Mr Alan Bates' central charge, really, is that at every turn, as he told the Inquirer, I think we can hear him now, the Post Office looked to protect its reputation, not its employees.
I mean, we went through, before we got to the court case, we went through a whole host of schemes, and they always used to say, yes, we'll be supportive, yes, we'll try, you know, with MPs and all the rest of it, yes, we'll get on board with it, yes, we're looking for the truth and all the rest of it. But all they did is cause problems. They were not forthcoming with the details in there. Certainly, disclosure is a very good example of that. I mean, cases used to take months and months to progress. I'm thinking of the initial mediation scheme, for example. And you just felt though they were there, you were still banging your head against a brick wall to try and get anything out of them, because they were determined to protect the brand at any cost.
Now, this is the case from Alan Bates, who led the litigation which really prompted the Post Office for the first time 5 years ago to accept that there were flaws in the Horizon system. He's sitting out the case against the current chief executive of the Post Office. Nick Reed is in the room listening to this. He faces his own challenges and investigations, but while these prosecutions were not on his watch, the compensation process which the sub-postmasters, who will be cleared by Act of Parliament in the next few months, that is Mr Reed's concern. And I suspect as the afternoon progresses and we hear more from Alan Bates, we'll move on from the wrong that was done to him, how he galvanised this absolutely remarkable campaign of more than 500 initially, now thousands of wrong sub-postmasters, into the question of why, now the Post Office has accepted blame, it continues to deny that it knew about the flaws in the Horizon system, he pointed out, and why it is still taking so long for money and compensation to reach those who've been so badly wronged.